Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day today. Finally had a halfway decent day. The day I was looking for yesterday, I ended up with today. So I hope this is some momentum and everything's going to just start moving forward. So we're going to look at a couple of the trades that I took today. One in particular that is just completely against my character, and we'll look at it, and I'll kind of explain to you how this kind of came about. So, but first thing I want to just say, and I have to reiterate this: just believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can do this. If you continue to do this and you speculate and you don't really have you're not confident that you're going to be able to do it, and you're always reserved and you're always holding something back because you feel that you might fail. Failure is a gift. It's not something that we accept as final. It's just a gift. It's something that helps us continue to get better. We take it, we learn from it, we overcome it, we dismiss it, and we keep moving forward. But we have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe that we can do it. If you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to happen. It's not. And most people, they don't believe in themselves or their ability, so they try to follow other people without actually learning, and it turns into a train wreck. So believe in yourself, guys. Believe that you can do this. Believe that you can trust in that process and take these baby steps and build these blocks up one at a time. That's the only way that we can get to the finish line here. All right, so IONS, this is the opening range trade that I took this morning. This was a little bit different. This is one of these stocks that puts in this huge wick. You have a whole lot of range on the very first candle. So when this happens, I have to amend my strategy a little bit. Obviously, I'm not going to wait to get in down here, because you can see how far down this is, and I wouldn't have really gotten a move. So what I do is I use the body of the candle, but then I look to see, okay, what support do we have up under here that can possibly stop this from moving? And when I looked here, I saw the VWAP right here. Even though it was trending down, it can turn and hold. And we had the 20 from the daily right here at 57.20. So I wanted to get in once it broke 57.20, but it dipped kind of quick on me, and I couldn't get in until 56.63, and my order sat there forever. I did a market order and it just sat there, and as soon as I went to click it to exit out, it failed. But it was a little bit unnerving, but I wasn't concerned. I knew I had a nice window to at least to here. But what I did was I went ahead and took some profit, right here at the opening range low, which was about 55.50. I was like, I'm using that, using the $0.50 mark. So that was a point, right there. I took half off, just over a point. Waited, and we had another level here. This was around 54.90, but I put my order at 55 and ended up getting hit. I had that bid sitting out there, and then I had another bid sitting out here at 54.25, and this was my final target. And what I was looking to do was, this was my final target. I wasn't going to take it on a reversal because of this level here. I wasn't, 75 cents is not what I'm looking for on these trades. So I didn't take it. I just kind of waited, and I was like, if it rejects here, I'm gonna hold it and see if we can get through this 54.24 down to the next level. But we didn't. We recovered. We tried to reject VWAP here, but I wasn't going to get in because we had the 9 right here. And, you know, it pushed back up, and it just kind of kept grinding up all day. So never did give me another clean entry. But this was a solid trade with 200 shares. And this is what, you know, I'm trying to show everybody. 200 shares, and we made $313. You don't, and I scaled out. You know, it's not hard to do if you find the right stocks, number one, and you execute. And in order to do that, you got to have your mind right. And when my mind isn't right, I don't execute. When my mind is right, I execute the trades. And that's just what it's all about. And that's why we work so hard on developing the right mindset. And, you know, that the psychology of trading. Because you have to have that right mindset. If not, you can't execute. You won't be able to. But this turned out to be a real good trade. Just didn't give me another entry here. You know, I didn't want it. Yeah, we could have taken the reversal off of here, but I just didn't want it. You know, this was just going to bounce. Wasn't what I was looking for. So just didn't take it. FAST was the next one I took. This one sold off, you know, on some news. It was a breaking news play. Really should have entered in up here. You know, once it went off, I saw this candle. I could have entered in here because we had 50% retracement on the candle when the news came out. And what I like to do is I wait for this candle to retrace 50%, at least half, and then take a position. And this would have worked out beautifully. But I didn't do it. And I let this come back. And I was looking for the rejection. And you know, it pulled back here. We got under this 47.20 level, so I went ahead and took it. We did pull back some. And, you know, we did make a little move down. But we made a higher low, so I was concerned about this. But, you know, I thought we were still working. We pulled all the way back. We were still below my max loss on this. So I just hung on to it because the 20 was right here. And I was expecting it to either reject here, or if it started to take off, I was just going to take it off and maybe reset at the VWAP. But it did roll over here. It took a little while, but we finally made the big move down. Hit the target here. This was the 20 day from the daily. Came down and hit it. I had an order out at 46.55. I had a bid sitting there. And as soon as I got that, I was sitting here trying to put in my stop order. And instead of putting 47, I put 46. And as soon as I sent it out, it filled immediately because I had my stop below the price, you know, below the price that it was at now. And so it just filled it immediately. So that was just a mess up on my part. But it was a good mess up because it would have stopped me out back at break even anyway. Or it would have just kept, you know, just grinding. It never did get back to where I would have been able to cover. So, you know, this was one of those that just worked out for the better that I messed that up. Now, here's a trade that I said was just totally out of my character. Now, what happened yesterday, if you were in chat yesterday afternoon, you saw me get in this trade. It must have been right after lunch. And it was just boring. It was just sitting there, not doing anything. And a trader sent me a message on Skype and said, "Hey, do you have time to do a session?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's nothing going on here. It's boring. You know, we can chat." So I got caught up in that and immersed in that. And then the alarm went off to remind me I have to go pick my son up, because what'll happen is I can get tied up in this stuff and my mind will be 100% in this and I'll forget about what I got to do. So I got an alarm on my phone to remind me when it's time to get ready to go get my son. And I did that. That went off and I was like, completely forgot I was in a trade. I left and picked up my son. He needed to get some stuff, so we messed around a little bit. By the time I got back, it was after 5. And I'm getting ready to log off. And I get that message saying that I'm over my overnight limit. So I'm like, what? So I try to get out, but it's too late. I can't exit the position. And so I was, fully expecting them to do a margin call and all of this. But when I got up this morning, they did do a margin call, but they didn't exit any of my position. They just nailed me with the fee. And I was down like $200 and some. So my thinking was they probably didn't take me out because I was down so much, and I was probably filled through their SMAT route, which is lightning quick, but it's lightning quick because it doesn't go anywhere. They fill the orders on, Sure Trader fills the order from their inventory. It's right there in their disclaimer. Before they even look to send it out anywhere, they're going to try to fill it in-house. So those fills are immediate, but I'm thinking that's probably why they didn't, liquidate me, because I was down. And maybe they didn't realize I was going to hold it like I did. But at the open, you see it went up. It ran up at the open. This was the 200. This was kind of my line in the sand here. If we established and started pushing off the 200, I would have taken this off. And this was the 200 from the daily chart. So we ran up, had a nice opening range breakout, pushed above it. So waiting to see if this candle was going to confirm above the 200 over here. It didn't. It bounced off of VWAP. This one closed above the 200, but this one couldn't validate it. This one closed above the 200. This one couldn't validate it. This closed above the 200. This one was just extremely weak. This one was extremely weak. There was no lift off the 200 here. So as long as this showed weakness, that was fine. What I did was I put my stop at 40.35, which was the previous high, and I just let it go. And as this trade worked, and the reason why I did that was because I didn't think, based on this price action and based on this inability to get away from this 200, I knew it was going to come back later in the day. That was just my conviction. Now, I didn't have to, and if it didn't, then yeah, I would have had to stop out and take that $300 plus loss, which really would have put me, in a hole. But I just used everything that I've learned and the experience of me being in these positions before. I've been in this position many times. And many times I waited, the stock ran up, and I took it off. And I ended up taking it off right at a solid daily level that, had this thing not been able to push over, it would have given me a winning trade. So that's really what I was doing here, and this is what I was trying to accomplish. But I said it over and over and over again in chat. This is not what I would like you to do. I don't want you to follow me. This is not something that you would want to do unless you have the experience in reading price action and you're able to deal with the risk. Now, obviously, I'm able to deal with the risk, so it wasn't a big deal to me. But if you're not, and you're new, and you're just now getting started, and all you have is the money in your account, you're not going to be able to handle that risk. And you're not going to think clear. And yeah, in that case, I'd recommend as soon as you can get out, get out. But, you know, I'm in a different position. And, you know, I made that full disclosure this morning when I told everybody what happened. You know, it's not something that I say do, because everybody I work with isn't at that point yet. But when you do, you'll know it, and then you'll be able to manage it. So as we continue to lose levels, every time we pull back and we had a bounce and we made like a lower low, or we bounced below a level, I kept bringing my stop down. It went from 40.35 down to 40, down to once it bounced here, 30.80, and I thought it was going to take me out here, but it didn't. It never pushed 30.80. When we bounced here, I moved it down to 30.60. Then once we got this move, I moved it down to 30.40. And I was really looking forward to take profit here at 38.50. It just never got there. It came close, but it couldn't get there. So I held it thinking that maybe we'll get a wash here in the last 5 or 10 minutes of the day. We didn't. So as soon as we claimed the 9 here, I went ahead and took it off. But in the end, you can see it's pretty much a break-even trade. You know, it cost me $39 just to hold it overnight. Only made 68 bucks on it, so you can see it wasn't really worth it. And I didn't stress it. And I got out at 38.85. Yeah, I didn't stress it. You know, it was what it was. I had already accepted the fact that I was probably going to lose 300 bucks. And as it got better throughout the day, so did my confidence about the trade. And the more I brought my stop down, the less money I was going to lose. So for me, that felt like a win. So that was a trade that I was, you know, trying to, that I told you, this is just out of my character. It's not something that I like to teach people to do, because it's something that experienced traders do. Just like adding to a losing position. I just don't do that. And I've done it once or twice, and every time it's bitten me. So it's not something I do. I don't feel that I'm experienced enough to be able to understand and feel when it's good to add to a losing trade. Now I can add to a trade that confirms after I've got in and it bounced a little bit. I can do that. But in terms of adding to a losing trade and then it ends up becoming a winner, you know, that's something that's beyond my pay grade right now. But, you know, just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think tomorrow we have our weekly education webinar and chat, so you guys hang around for that. That'll start about 4:30. And that should be a pretty interesting webinar there. So you guys take it easy. Have a great evening, a great night, and I will see you tomorrow morning.